Okay, hello. Good morning, everybody. My name is Varun Devan. I'm a program manager with Microsoft in the business applications group, and I'm specifically working on the admin experience. Thank you all for joining the session. I know it's almost the first session of the morning, so I hope you had good breakfast. Um, so today I'll be talking about capacity management. From a licensing perspective, I'll skip some of those things, but if you have any questions offline, I'm happy to answer some of the licensing questions because capacity and licenses do go hand in hand. But I'm specifically covering from an experience standpoint what a capacity management looks like. But if you have any licensing questions, definitely feel free to engage with me after the session. So before I talk about any of this, just a quick check. How many of you know about the Power Platform Admin Center of the many admin centers that we have created? Okay, great. So that's good to know that people know. For those of you who don't, Power Platform Admin Center is the single admin center that we are moving towards in converging Power Apps, Flow, and Dynamics 365. So today, these three experiences, three different admin centers exist today. But Power Platform Admin Center is the place where me and my entire team is focusing on to make sure there is a convergence. So what I'll talk about today is part of the Power Platform Admin Center, and there's a new capacity report that we have launched recently, and I'll talk about what that report is and why it is important. And another thing, how many of you actually know about the capacity report? Like, have you tried this? Okay, great. So nobody, which is a good start. So I can start with some of the basic fundamentals of capacity management and then go from there. So capacity is a very important concept that is going to become more and more important in future from the management perspective. Today, we are going to talk about the storage capacity. There is database, log, and file. These are the three different capacities, so we'll talk about that. How do you monitor it? We'll talk about why capacity management is becoming more and more important, because creating new environments is going to be based on capacity. So long as there is available capacity is when you can create an environment, and I'll talk about some of those things as well. And we'll talk about specifically about file and log. Those are new concepts. They did not exist a few months back. Those are new concepts that are introduced. So I wanted to talk about and touch a little bit on the log and file in addition to the database capacity. And we'll make this interactive. If you feel you need any more details around this, we can stop right in the middle, or we can wait in the end and talk about any of the questions. So this is the Power Platform Admin Center. On the left nav, you can go here by going to admin.powerplatform.com. When you go in here, you'll be able to see all the analytics capability, and specifically, I'll talk about the capacity. So capacity is the new left navigation, which helps you visualize what your entitlement is and how much of that entitled capacity you have used. By entitlement, it means what is available to you. And that available capacity is based on the licenses that you have bought. So if you are, let's say, a PowerApps customer who has bought Plan 2 license for PowerApps, you get some default capacity just by the virtue of buying even a single Plan 2 license. As you buy more and more licenses, you get additional capacity, which is based on the per license entitlement. And then you can always go in and buy add-ons if the default and the license accrued capacity does not meet your need. You can always go in and buy any additional add-on.
Is it like license assigned or license bought?
License bought. Right. So the question was, is it based on the license assigned or license bought? It is based on what you have bought from a tenant perspective. So the new concepts of file and log are really new. They are just few months old. On 1st of April of this calendar year is when the concepts of file and log were introduced. If you are a Dynamics customer, you're used to just buying a database capacity. That's the concept that existed all along when the Dynamics has been more than a decade. But now there's the introduction of file and log capacity. So the whole concept here is that as the business is growing, as the data is growing, the needs for storing more and more different type of data, like more files that you want to add, more transactional and log data you want to add, there is this introduction of database, log, and file as three different types of capacity that actually store data in three different data stores, which is completely abstracted from the way you use the application. But there are three different data stores that are available. There is documentation that I'll point you after this, which will help you understand what goes in database, what goes in file, and what goes in log. But at a very high level, anything that's related to your like SQL data, like a account or contact or any entity that you create in CDS, that goes in the database. Any files like attachments, like annotations, they all go into the file. And for log, anything about audit logs, anything about plugin trace logs, they all go into the log. So that's how we have split the database log and file. So this view, and I'll go into the demo as well, this view talks about on the left navigation, when you click on capacity, the usage will talk about the database log and file, how much you have consumed and what is entitled. So it says you have 1 GB consumed out of the 55 GB that is available. And on the right where it says capacity types and sources, it explains you where you have gotten that capacity from, how it breaks down from a default, which you get even by buying one license, and for every license that you bought, what's the accrued capacity that you get, and then if any additional add-ons that you have bought for it. You can click on any of those arrows that you see. Right underneath the database for user license, you see 25 gigs, and there is this arrow that takes you to more details on how did we calculate the 25 GB. So it gives you a breakdown of how many licenses do you have and how did the calculation actually happen. You can click on the per environment on the top, which is literally next to the overall section, where it gives you the list of environments that are part of your tenant. And you can see for every environment, what is the consumption at a database, log, and file. And then you can obviously click on a particular environment and look at the details. So this view will help you see how much database log and file you have consumed and which tables are consuming most of it. So from an action standpoint, one of the key things that we are driving towards is if there is any particular capacity that any consumption which is higher, you can actually come in and look at a view of which tables are consuming those capacity. So giving you an opportunity to maybe clean up, or if you think that's a capacity that you need, you can definitely go and buy. And there are links right in line that will help you learn more about them and guide you to the right tools. So why capacity is important? One of the key things that we are driving now is the provisioning of environments is going to be based on capacity. People in the audience who know about the dynamics, customer engagement, it was all based on buying an additional add-on instance. Like that was the concept that existed all along. If you bought, let's say, a dynamic CE plan, you will get a production instance and a sandbox instance. That's the default that we would typically give. But if you want to add additional instance, you will have to go and buy an additional add-on. But in this new world, there is no need for you to buy additional add-ons. It's all based on your capacity. If you have enough capacity, which is 1 GB minimum to create and provision an environment, you don't need to go and buy any additional add-ons. The additional add-on concept is not something that is going to be required. It's simply based on capacity availability and specifically for database. So I'll show you some of the experiences that I have in one of my production tenants. This feature is coming out shortly. So the capacity report that I just showed you is already available. Definitely go to admin.powerplatform.com, and under analytics, you will see the capacity. Provisioning is coming soon. So if you log into your tenant today, when you click on new, it will pop you up with it's coming soon. But I'll show you a demo on one of my production tenants because we are working very actively to get this feature out. It should be out in another few weeks to a month, where now you will have a pane which will actually allow you to provision a new environment. Whether you want to provision it without data, Dynamics 365 template, Dynamics 365 template, Dynamics 365 template to it. All those experiences are going to be in a single pane. So just few important things to notice, and I'll go directly into the demo, is Power Platform Admin Center will be the consolidated entry point for provisioning. That's the key thing that we are driving, where today you provision Dynamics by going to the Dynamics Admin Center. You provision PowerApps and Flow environments by going to their individual admin center. Power Platform is going to consolidate all that experience in a single place, and it's coming very, very soon. Minimum 1 GB of database capacity is required for provisioning. If you do not have 1 GB database capacity, then the provisioning will fail. It will give you an exception that it will ask you to go and buy additional capacity or clean up capacity, whatever is appropriate for you. And capacity, like I talked about, is based on licensing, and you can always buy an add-on. And these are the three different ways that you get capacity. Default capacity, which you get even by buying a single license, per user, per license capacity, which as more and more licenses you buy, per license gives you additional capacity, and you can always go in and buy an add-on. So let me quickly show you a quick demo of this. I think we've covered most of it, so I'll do a quick demo and then open up for Q&A. So this is a production test tenant where I'm using for some of the provisioning related things, but I've added data to it where you can visualize. So just covering the same basics. So admin.powerplatform.microsoft.com is the place to go to manage and look at your capacity. Capacity is extremely important as you going forward because it ties into your provisioning. Provisioning will not happen if you do not have enough capacity on your tenant. So this is the same view where it tells you what is the current consumption for database, log, and file, and it talks about the breakout of where did I get all that capacity. And I can click through this and actually find out if I'm 1.25 GB, how many license accrued that particular 1.25 GB. We are going to add calculation here as well, so you can see the licenses that give you capacity and certain that don't. For example, a team member license or an office license does not give you any additional capacity, but that's one of the questions that customers ask us all the time, that I have more licenses when I go to the office and I see only few of them over here, and that is because only the ones that count show up here. The ones that do not count are not shown here. But that's an improvement that we will be making over time to show you a full list, but talk about the ones that do count and an exact calculation that how much capacity per license is actually giving you to come up to what 1.25 GB in this case. And you can always click on per environment and look at for a particular environment what is the consumption. One of the things that we are adding here is the ability to see the table breakdown. If any one of you have used any of the storage reports that existed in the CDS analytics that gave you the table breakdown, we have removed that because this is the new reliable stream where we are using this data from. Like you can see, there's a new concepts of database, log, and file, and this is coming out very, very soon. I'm hoping somewhere in a few weeks to maximum a month where this feature will be out. On provisioning, this feature is not available to everybody right now. This is my production test tenant. When you click on new in your tenant, you will be given that pop-up saying that the feature is coming soon. But over here, I can create a particular environment. So before I create it, let me quickly show you the capacity so we keep that number in mind and come back. So it says 4.93 database capacity is consumed. And now let me go in and go into the environment and create a new environment here. You can always create environment with database. The provisioning takes slightly bit longer time with database. So just for the sake of the demo, I'm creating the one without database. So once this environment is created, things are still work in progress for some of the other bits to launch into production. So once this environment gets created, the capacity will go from 4.93 that we just saw to 5.93. So that's the consumption will increase by 1 GB, and I'll open it right here as well. The consumption just increased from 4.93 to 5.93. So provisioning costs 1 GB minimum database capacity. As soon as the environments get provisioned, the 1 GB is taken away from that tenant, and that's the feature that's coming out very shortly. So just to summarize, we talked about monitoring capacity, where you can go. So admin.powerplatform.com is the place to go to monitor your capacity. Capacity management is extremely critical because provisioning is tied to capacity management, where now you can provision an environment solely based on available capacity. If you have 1 GB minimum capacity, database capacity available in your tenant, you can provision an environment. And the new concepts of file and log are also automatically added to your tenant. So even if you have not made any change on 1st April when the file and log capacities were introduced, file and log capacity is automatically added to your tenant. So if you go in and try out the capacity reporting today, you will see this view where log and file is added to your existing licenses without any action that you have to take for now. So with this, I'll open up for Q&A. And if you still have any licenses question, like I said, I'm happy to take them on as well. So Power Platform and what was the other thing? Yes. Yes, correct. So in the provisioning flow, when you click on the new, and maybe I'll switch and show you as well. So when you go ahead and create an environment, I have the option to create an environment with database, which is the toggle that you see at the bottom. So and I can click on, I need an environment with database. And on the next screen, you have the option to pick and choose that do you want to provision any CRM app in it. And that's where you can select a template of sales, service, and some of the other templates that are available based on your licensing. But if you don't want an app installed on it, you just want a CDS database, then and click on save provisioning of an environment with a CDS database will happen in this experience as well. So for finance, and so the question is, will the finance and operations and some of the other F&O related things will also show up here? So no, so not the finance and operation, but the sales, service, and marketing, like those experiences will live. Yes, that is correct. Yes, yes. So if you have the license, then yes, correct. Any other questions on capacity? The main goal for today's session is to make sure that you all understand the way to go and look for capacity. Are any one of you who is an existing customer and managing capacity using any other experience? And what experience do you typically use today? Where do you go to look at your capacity? How much you have used and how much do you have? Right. So the question is how frequently we calculate capacity and what's the telemetry around making sure that we have the right level of information shown here. So today we promise a 24-hour SLA in terms of calculating capacity. So internally we do have a better frequency, but that's what we communicate externally. We continue to push towards a more real-time feed that will give us like real-time data. So if you go in and delete information, then it reflects here in a short period of time. Right now, the SLA that we are committing is 24 hours. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Got it. So the question is that if, from a dynamics perspective, since it's already, there is a controlled experience of provisioning an environment, but in case of PowerApps and Flow, there is a viral adoption where people can create a lot of PowerApps and Flow environments. And now that we are consolidating these two worlds into one, how do we make sure that this list that we see is applicable to the admin and which environments are being used the most versus which are not? How does the admin decipher so they can take an action to maybe let's go delete an environment in that case? So great question. So one of the things so this list will just solely talk about what is your consumption, right? It doesn't talk about usage. There are other analytics that you see in the left navigation here around the CDS, Flow, and PowerApps. These are the places which will help you look at the usage. So you can change, and I'll just quickly go here as well. So if you go to Flow, I don't have a lot of, I've not created, this was just a capacity demo. But in here, you can change your filters and look at a particular environment, and this report will give you the usage, right? So this is the place to go and look for usage. But if you feel as you are managing the application, usage and capacity is go hand in hand, which it does most of the time. We can definitely look at that feedback and see how we can connect the dots. One of the things that we are looking at to connect the dots, but no commitment yet, is on usage from an audit perspective. So if you have an environment that is consuming, let's say, 10 gigs of storage, database storage, and there is a growth that happened, let's say in last 1 week, you want to know, okay, what happened? Which tables were there? What was the action? Which user took those actions? So we are going to tie the audit data into it at a future date. So plans are not committed yet. Yes, please. Right. So the question is, and I'll repeat just to make sure I fully understand. The question is that what's the role privilege around getting to the Power Platform Admin Center and looking at capacity, right? So today it's gated by a minimum Plan 2 license. So you need a minimum Plan 2 license or above to be able to come into this experience. That's the first gate. That is going away. Not as part of like this next few weeks, but definitely in a very short period of time, where coming into the admin experience is not gated by license. You can come into the experience based on the role. You need a license because that's our service needs to know who the entry point is. But you could have a Plan 1 license, but you have the right role in Office. You're let's say a global admin, or you are a D365, which is the Dynamics 365 service admin. There's a new role that we are introducing, which is a Power Platform service admin. So all you need is a role and a license to come in. So no more P2 restrictions. So that's the first part. The second is that if you do allow people to come in and without the role and they are an environment admin can still see the tenant view, but the per environment view is restricted based on which environments that this user is an environment admin. So if I am an environment admin of just 2 environments out of the 100 that exist, this report will still show up to me. So I can still see at a tenant level what is my consumption and entitlement. But when I click on the per environment, I will only see the environments that I am an environment admin and no more. Any other questions? Well, great. Thank you so much for joining. I appreciate it.